Shaun Haney here with RealAgriculture.com. I'm at the second annual CanFax Market Forum. I'm joined right now by
Kenric Exner.
Kenric, welcome. You're with Glencore, or Viterra.
Whatever you want to call it. Viterra I'm paid by, I guess, but Glencore is the parent company. So
How are things going?
things are going very well. Very exciting year for us, for producers, for everyone, I guess. Extremely large crop, near record or record production on most commodities. So the general mood's pretty good.
Let's talk about that big crop. Is it as big as some have? It's sort of been lamented in the media?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's obviously some more upside potential in what you've seen year to date on some statistics. Just reports from the country, from producers, from storage. It is quite large, which can be daunting to our system, but it is a record crop or near record crop.
What's interesting is across all commodity types, basically, for the Western Prairies.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. You talk to some guys that have been in the industry for 30, 40 years, and what they'll speak to is it almost seems like it's the first year where all commodities had really good production, whereas in past bumper crops, it's kind of been, wheat's been really good, but canola not so well, or oats or something else had a tough year. But this year, everything seemed to have really good production.
Well, when we have such a large crop, there's two things that come to mind first. One is pricing, two is logistics.
Yes.
So let's talk about pricing first. What impact is that having on pricing?
Well, it's all due to basically logistics. I mean, there's so much supply, and it's not the fault of anybody. It's just trying to get that to end-use destination. Unfortunately, we're not going to get additional rail cars with production like this because there's other industries they have to service as well, right? Oil, potash, automotive parts, all that, good stuff. So, we can only push so much through the system. The facilities have the capability of handling more at the port and inland. It's just a function of getting it from A to B, which unfortunately is going to have a natural impact on prices.
And how do you just don't build another lane of a railway. How does this get solved?
Well, unfortunately, it's going to take some time. And I think if we have an average crop next year, we're still going to see a very large glut. We're thinking that overall carryout could double this year going into next. So it's going to take us, unfortunately, another 12 to 18 to 24 months to kind of work ourselves through it. And that's only if we have an average crop next year.
Yikes.
Yes. It's very, very daunting.
So a little bit of a bearish story, or is there a bullish spin to this at all?
Well, I guess you got to be careful, right? Everybody's bearish because of the glut of the size and logistics issues, but there's so many outside factors, right, that can come to play, that can change. Globally, we could see change in production in different geographical regions that may send the markets, soaring. But for the out term, or for the the short term future, I think things are really relatively flat to bearish. Unfortunately, it's just moving this glut of grain.
Is a lot of discussion. I was at a meeting, I think it was about 3 weeks ago, and Jerry Ritz was there, and he was talking about getting challenged on logistics lots. And the question about oil, is oil tying up a lot of our capacity? And is that are we saying that, or is it actually really, really happening?
Well, I can't speak to specifics because I don't know, but I think it's just an overall demand on the railways for a bunch of different products. And I mean, everybody's wanting a piece of the pie. And I think it's just very difficult for them to kind of keep everybody happy and give them their allotment.
Somebody joked to me last week, we need a grain, if they're not going to build the Keystone Pipeline, we should build a Keystone Pipeline for grain.
Sure. I mean, the world is demanding Canadian products because of this record crop or near record crop. So, it'd be nice to get more out there and push more grain through the system, but we can only do what we can do and work with what we've got for logistics.
Perfect. Well, Kenric, thanks a lot for joining us, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks for having me.